Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and I've got a pretty cool video today. I created a poll. I'm gonna just show it right now. Created a poll on YouTube. I didn't really expect to make a video on this, and this video isn't necessarily on this, but I thought this was pretty interesting. Right now, 48 votes, but it seems like things are pretty equally spread between the whales and the free-to-play, but there are quite a few of the light spenders. So again, if you guys haven't gotten to vote on this, and then I obviously asked people to kind of tell me their GP, just so that way I kind of knew where they were, as I want to try and make videos that are relevant to everyone here. I always like to provide meaningful content rather than just, silly stuff, but that's just sort of me. All right, so today's video is going to be about kind of a look on what we're doing, especially as we're starting to get to a pretty crucial point in the game, in my opinion, of what do we farm, like how much effort do we put into certain things. So quickly, first, I'm going to do a few things like I used to do these videos, and so I want to try and keep some of that format here. So obviously, I'm Ando90. I'm part of this guild. That's a huge mouthful to say, but it is part of the Maw Alliance. Funny enough, it's very interesting how this all ended up, and I want to kind of give them a shout out. So we'll go into that right now. But I've been just autoing with this team, and somehow I've ended up in first. I'll tell you kind of the secrets behind that. It's not really much of a secret. I'm sure most of you have figured it out. Right now, I have my offensive team in. Obviously, I'll switch this to Leviathan. Currently in Kyber 1 at 3,800 skill rating. And so, yeah, the shout out that I wanted to give to my guild was basically, here we go. Just switch over to this again. So I made a video a while ago about territory wars. Many people said, hey, like it's really impossible to do, very well inside of territory wars. I think we're either the 5th or 6th highest GP guild in the game, so we're up there, but we're definitely not the highest GP guild. But I just want to show you guys something. Right here, the last 3 months, we were 13-0. We've had a really great run, very well done on the member side, but also obviously the officer side. In the last 6 months, we're 88%. That's pretty good. But really, when you look at it too, we haven't lost since basically mid-March. We're about to go through our really big cycle on, like our people that we usually lose to. So I anticipate, right, like there's going to be some challenging fights ahead of us. But I just want to show you guys that it is possible. Again, yes, it will require some work. But I've noticed, again, just from the string of wins, I've gotten more of the data cron, reroll material and all that other stuff, and that's how I get it. I mean, I don't spend on that stuff or anything like that. So now we can kind of get into what's actually happening inside of our roster, though. All right, so I am 12.7 million GP. I know a lot of people will look at that and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you must spend so much." I don't. I really don't. I usually buy the battle pass for the month. I don't even think I bought it this time. Like I actually just forgot. Life's been crazy. But that being said, right, I'm not going to claim to be free to play. I have spent before. I have even Kraken before, like based off of a really crazy time in my life. Enfys Nest could like solo, and I just bought into like YouTube madness. And this was before I got into YouTube, and I went crazy, and like I've told the story all the time. I had buyer's remorse right afterwards, and I was like, I never want to do that again. So that's sort of my story with that, and so that's just who I am as a player, right? And I want you guys to know that. So typically, all these favorites are stuff that I'm working on, or like that I've favorited for a reason. Some of these will kind of exit out as we do this. So Mace Windu, I just wanted to get him to R8 for the raid. He's done. And that's really the story of the account. Right now, I'm really just focused on the raid. So Ayla Sakura, I got her to R8 again for the raid. Cool. I got Qui-Gon Jinn to R7. That's where I'm stopping at him for right now because of the raid. Keller and Beck, I actually just had on here because I wanted to get him to R9 eventually. So I'm going to keep him up here. And then Visas, oh no, sorry, not Visas Mar. Gungan Bombardier and Phelan, Tarpals. I wanted to get to R7. I did with Bombardier. I haven't gotten it to Tarpals, but I just want to say normally I try and create unlocked videos. I don't have Jar Jar yet. I try to create unlocked videos at the minimum requirements. I'm sorry I caved, guys. I know, put me to shame in the comments, I caved because I was like, I just want to get, a better score. I need to start elevating my score. I think I'm right now at around the 9.6 million. Want to get to about 10 million. And the best way I can do that is by bringing the Gungans to R7. I'm just flat out of mats. Like I will show you guys. Okay, so I guess I can get these via the raid essentially, which I can buy some more. But yeah, I'm just flat out of that. So let's go ahead and go through the rest of them. So Bo-Katan, I just want to get her to R8. Honestly, I think she's worth it. The offense that's added from R8, I think will help. Yeah, I honestly just think that she just needs to be that. Quite frankly, there's some fights where you're like, man, if only I was just a little bit stronger there, I would have finished that right there, and we would have maybe saved some banners. So I want to get through that. Bosk has been a long time R8. He's got a great ship. He's part of, I won't call him the meta ship anymore, but he's just a pretty big part of that fleet. All right, so the Inquisitors are on here because I want to be able to do the Get 3 mission in TB, but right now I just haven't been able to do that. So I have GI and Riva at R8. So the big ones would be 8th brother, 5th brother, and 7th sister. 9th sister, I just like having her as a tank. So many UFU teams can fit in there, especially when the UFUs had the Datacron buffs. Right now she's got a pretty sweet buff from her Datacron. I know it's going away soon, but I would like to try and just get her to R8. Again, tanks really kind of benefit from R8, R9 is what I've noticed. Stap, he's right now probably good at R7. Honestly, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of take him out. Gungan Bombardier right now probably can leave at 7, but I'm going to keep him up here. I just want to make sure we're good on sort of making sure that we've got the Gungans in check. Sith Assassin, I had ideas of bringing her to R9, but at this point, I think R8's about where we're going to stop with her. So let's go ahead and just call her good for now. Sith Marauder is an interesting one. I do want him at R8 just because he is the tank on Leviathan, but that's pretty much the only reason why. So he's probably falling on the list a little bit. Gar Saxon and ISE. I actually had these guys on for a really long time. I want them both at R7. They're ships, they're good with a lot of different things. And they have a spot in PvP too, and especially now with this Datacron, but I'm going to keep them on there. I want them both at R7 eventually. I just haven't gotten around to them. Pieces Mar, again, I would want her to be R7 just for the sake of I use her in PvP all the time. And same thing with L337. She should be R7 based on how much I use her. Zombie, again, R7, just due to Night Sisters having a special mission inside of TB that can also earn some more rewards. We now have Night Trooper and Morgan Elsbeth. Obviously, those are brand new. I don't have any, they're going to be for Ahsoka, but, I think we're still maybe a month or two away from that dropping. So I feel pretty confident that as soon as we get these, I will farm them up, and I'm not going to be a day one unlock for Ahsoka. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about first how my arena team is doing, which I think right now is probably one of the meta teams. There's quite a few of them, but it's because Commander Ahsoka, right? I have her at 380 speed, and it doesn't even make sense. There's no need why we need this protection on Ahsoka. There's not really a ton of stats. I guess offense is pretty good, but the only stat that matters is speed, right? So just give her the best speed mods you can. We're currently living in the JMK meta again. We just want her as fast as possible. There's no really reason why I have it that way. All right. So that goes into the squad arena one. Let's go quickly into the journey guide. Obviously, I have Jar Jar Binks coming up soon. Just from a strictly what's coming after that. Obviously, Ahsoka though. But there's so much that goes into Ahsoka, as we've seen recently. we know that we're going to get Night Sisters. And this is just kind of where I want this video to kind of end at. We're getting to the point where we have had a huge amount of teams coming to us. Whether that be Queen Amidala plus, the Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon, right? That's a team. And that's an expensive team, like, especially if you're like me that invested the R9s into them pretty much right away. Like, that's sort of, that was 3 R9s that I just immediately kind of vanished off the board. We've already got another R9, and then it looks like they haven't updated it in the game, but I know we've got our next requirements as well that requires another R9. So that's a team. And then we've got the Gungans. That was a team. And then now we know we're going to get a new Night Sister team. So let's go ahead and look at the Night Sisters. And it's ones that we're not real, like, unless you're like a Night Sister conformist or whatever you want to call it. It's ones that we don't really have relicked up. It's Spirit. It's going to be Talia. It's going to be, Morgan Elsbeth, and it's going to be the Great Mother. And Acolyte, those are ones that we just don't really have. It's not the the main team, so to speak. So that's gonna be another team that we have to develop. And then we're gonna get Luthen. Now, luckily with Luthen, it seems like his team's already kind of created. It's either gonna run with Saw or it's gonna run with Mon Mothma. So for most part, I think most of us have that team somewhat geared or somewhat relic. So in that regard, I guess it's just gonna be one character. But the other thing that we have to consider too is, we've got Balin's Skull coming out, right? There's going to be an epic confrontation for that. So what team is he going to run with? What characters are going to run with him? It's going to be hard to imagine that we don't have his Padawan. I forgot her name, like something with an H. It's hard to imagine that we don't have that. We've already got news that Ezra's coming. Now, I do believe that Ezra probably is going to go alongside of Ahsoka, the Galactic Legend, but we'll see, right? So we've got all these teams that we've just been building and building and building. And unfortunately, like, if you're a PvP player, that game mode hasn't changed. So we're just building these squads to really just replace squads that were working at one point in time. And now we just feel like there's this overage or this overhead of squads that we have. So it's a lot, guys, and that's why I really haven't. Normally I'm kind of already starting on the GL thing, right? Like, I wouldn't even mind putting R9 onto Ahsoka, except for how relic poor I am. Let's see where she is. She's somewhere in here, because I think I have her at either 7 or 8 already, because she is a ship, and I was able to kind of be able to justify that. But I got plenty of droid brains. I got, I guess, enough gear to pads, but it's just at this point, I'm kind of focusing on the raids. That way we get those steps to get max crate and kind of go from there. So I would recommend, if you guys are looking for where your guys' gears and relic are going to be, hit the raid first. So that way you and 49 other people can benefit from that. So you guys can all be building together and hopefully start to, unlock Galactic Legends and unlock these new squads that are kind of coming at a rapid pace. But anyways, guys, I just like to make these videos every once in a while where I just look at my roster kind of critically, see what I've been doing, see where I could get better at, and just kind of give you guys an insight of what's working for me, what's not, what I would rather do. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next one.